Good morning, this is Bruce and welcome to my shop on this lovely Saturday morning. It's been raining all day today since early this morning. We've got some nozzles here that we have to make up. We've cut the material and during probably Monday we'll end up doing that one. We've got quite a bit on this weekend. And then over in the lathe we've got a truly urgent job. We've got to make up this this special bush for a measuring device, and we've started to machine that already in the lathe, and we've got a bit more work to do on that, probably a couple of hours, because this has to be quite accurate. And then over by the bench we've got these little stainless steel handles to be made up out of two flats and the round, and they will stand like so. They're going to be made up, and then I've got some other parts to be made for that. I've got to make up some of these nylon cups and also plugs that'll screw inside there. We've got a couple of sets of these frames to be made up, and we'll show that I've got the cutting and welding section here, and we'll show you a bit more about that later. We've got this is off a coring saw, main pivot for the bandsaw, and that's been smashed, broken right all the way through during transport. It was a couple of thousand kilometres on the road heading back to Perth from interstate and on the rough roads, and that all cracked through. They've ordered a new one from the States, from Germany I should say, but there's a good chance that's not going to make it in time, so I've just tacked it up so that I can do a takeoff, and then I'll make one out of steel if that doesn't work. I've got a stack of drill bits that I need to sharpen up. They've been harassed badly from drilling out one of these titanium plugs, and you can see this one has been drilled and ground and so forth, and there's other bits that are left over from what was a helicoil in there. The other pieces of that same item, that this was a big getter out. There was 11 hours on getting this out. It took 11 hours for two jobs, each job. So over here we've got all the parts, the plates, the profiles all cut up for these trolleys, and across over on the bench I've just made up a jig now. I've made up the two top frames. They're over there tacked up, and I've made one of these intermediate frames, and we've got 8 of those to make up for the two trolleys. So I've just now tacked up some of the offcuts, and this will be a little jig where I'll be able to make the 8 frames up. So all I need to do is just slide in all the pieces, tack them up, slide it out, and go on with the next one. And once I've got those all tacked up, I'll then carry on putting them all together. And over on the mill here, we're machining out a couple of sockets. This is I made up a swag of these special nuts for pump impellers, and the client come back and said, well look, I'd like you to make me up a spanner that we can use for torquing these up. So what the recipe I come up with, I bought some sockets, 1/2-inch square drive sockets, and then I've decided that I'm going to machine those out to fit that nut. So if we look at that, that'll drop into the hex okay, but it needs to be rounded out on both sides. So what I've done is I've set it up in the mill here, on the rotary table, and I'm working, it works out about 10 degrees less than 180 on each side, as a machine. This is the first cut. Maybe you can see better there. This is the first cut, and what we end up with is this, and so then the nut will just drop in there. So we've got a neat fit for the nut. And what I've also done, because I knew that this was going to be coming very, very, very close to the skin on both sides, I've machined up some bushes, and I've pressed those bushes on and then just TIG welded them in two places. I may in the end TIG weld them completely around the periphery here, and I may not, because they're tight on there anyway, and that'll give that added strength that we need in this part here where it's quite thin, although there should not be any load on there. The load should only be on these two flats. And then apart from that is just collecting the swarf and cleaning up the floor and cleaning the machines. So I got a fair bit cut out for me for the weekend, and we've also got to go off and we've got another job down here, and this is a drill head, and this drill head has got has to have these nozzles removed. These are solid carbide nozzles, and there's a special tool I haven't got here, it's in the car, but I've got a special tool for taking these out. Technicians already tried to take one out, and it's broke on him. So what I have to do is to get these out is to heat them up to 350 degrees in order to break the bond of the Loctite that's inside. There's a very special Loctite, so I need to break that bond by heating them up and then unscrewing them out, and then this last one that's broken, and hopefully I don't break any more, and then I go to plan B, which is plan Bruce, of course, and we'll get that last nozzle out, hoping that that's going to be the only one. And then apart from that, it's just a bit of a clean up and you know, and sort things out. And we've been working on outside here. I've just had the door closed because of the weather. This milling machine, it's been waiting quite some time now for me to get back into it. I've mounted now the X drive. Down in here you can see there's an adapter unit, and that shaft was much longer with the old drive. So I've had to cut that, make keyways, a woodruff key inside of it, fitted it on, it's all bolted up, and it's all now ready to go. Fitted the stop system on here. I've got to do some dressing up, and then this brand new switchboard, I've got to start wiring that up, put in all the components and wiring it up, and then fitting on the head. I'm going to be fitting a variable speed drive for it, so a VSD drive. So that's about it, and this is, I don't know whether I put anything up on that, but these are the big tap handles. This is the number 22 that Stan got for me, and that's the second one, the number 8, and then I've got the 7B and the 7 and the 6 down there, and a 3 or 5 I should say. And I painted all those up, and so that's starting to look good, and I'm hoping one day to come across the number 24, which I really need. That's to be able to work with some of these larger taps that I've got. You see some of these taps are very big. This one here, this is a 2-inch, 2-inch 4.5 PN, the left hand, and then I've got some right hand ones. This is the this drawer here is the taps and dies for UNF, UNC. And then this one here is the BSF, BSC, BSP, Specials, NPTs are in this drawer. This one here is all metrics. There's all metric ones, and spiral flutes of the machine units there. And then I've got the large set which I call the getter out set. There's taps below that. These are all tungsten, which I hate with a passion, but they're a necessity. And then some of the tools in here, handles and so forth. So there's a bit more sorting out to be done with that as well. And since the last time I think I put this little press up, and that's about it for the moment.